was well respected because I was an executive and became an executive early in my career. So to make a long story short, I've placed many women on boards, especially the companies that I've served on the boards of.
Well, I mean this very sincerely. You have been a trailblazer, and one thing I admire about you so much is helping other women. I've seen that personally in the work you've done, really sponsoring executive women to be on boards. And not that it's unusual, but I think you did it early on, and in a times where sometimes women would, bring up the ladder behind them and just be the only woman on the board, and we're proud of that. You took a very different posture. Do you have any? This is always the question of proving that diversity and business success are correlated. Do you have views on that? Of how would you address that?
Yeah, I think that women on boards bring different perspectives, right? And we bring different backgrounds, just like any person that would serve on a board has different perspectives and backgrounds. But I also think we have innate in us an intuition about culture, about how people interact with each other. Where I know, at least me personally, I'm observant, I'm a listener, I'm a learner. Um, and I'm also curious. I ask a lot of questions. And I think we have a way of bringing things onto the table that might not be discussed by dealing with them in a discussion format and a seek to understand format versus a declaratory format. And so I think that difference in style is also helpful to drive the right kind of results for companies, and for companies to not just uh, do well, but to do good in addition to that. So I also think we've had a focus on the caretaking side. What we see today with ESG and with diversity initiatives, I know I've been an advocate for that since day one, not just on the boards, but on the leadership teams
Mhm.
that the boards interact with, and also down into the organization for high potentials. So I do think that women add value, and the companies that I've served on have done better because they've had diverse boards.
And the conventional wisdom is, one woman on a board uh, is fine. When you add two, it's materially better. When you add three, it's exponentially in terms of, and not that every woman is alike, but that it does make a difference in the boardroom. I mean, have you personally seen that?
Yes, yeah, I celebrate that. It's, because sometimes you are a lone voice if you're the only one there,
Right,
right?
right.
But when there's two, three, sometimes four and five, it really does change the dynamic.
But in terms of leadership, you said, early on, you made sure you got on the nom-gov committee, and then, into leadership roles on important committees, women who are now chairing major boards. Can you talk about that? That wouldn't have happened years ago. I mean, it's been gradual, but we're seeing more of it. Have you been on a board where the woman has been the chair, other than when you were CEO, and how that's changed the dynamic?
Yeah, so I'm chairman of the board of DocuSign today.
Mhm.
So and I joined the board about 3 years ago. So I was only on the board for about a year, but the board was going through a major refresh transformation. And Dan Springer was brought in about 3 to 4 years ago as a new CEO. And he's a real believer in diversity. Dan convinced me with his leadership, his focus, and the refreshment of the board
Mhm.
that, and plus I loved the company. What's not to love with DocuSign? We call it DocuLove. I didn't chair any of the committees when I joined the first year, but as we looked at the refresh, the board and our chair of Nom and Gov, working with Dan and the other board members, asked if I would become chairman of the board. And since then, we've added three new women board members. We have three people of color already on the board, uh, and it's a very diverse group. And I look at the share price of DocuSign today compared to what it was a couple of years ago. I mean, we've got a $40+ billion market cap now, and I'm taking full credit for
You
that.
should.
COVID, the pandemic has helped
Excellent.
accelerate things too. So we're servant leaders.
Mhm.
And I've seen this in a number of women that wind up as the chairman of boards. Uh, we are looking for collective wisdom. We know that our role is a facilitator role. It's not a decision maker role, which is very different than in the corporate world.
Mhm.
When you're running a company, you're a decision making leader. When you're in a board, you're as chair of the board, you're a facilitating leader
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
bring ideas and get that collective wisdom together. And I think women have a great capability to do that and to make sure that the voices around the table are heard. I think that we are seeing boards get stronger with diversity, not weaker. Uh, we see boards, they're not checking boxes with the people that they're putting on, but there are actually terrific women out there that can serve and do serve. I think the multiplier effect has been very positive because as you get more women on boards, the work of the board is better and the outcomes for the companies in terms of their results are better. So I think we're building also that track record. Uh,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
there's still a ways to go,
Yeah.
not just in technology, but in a number of fields. And I'm hoping that the momentum is done correctly, where we don't need to have mandates by state or at the federal level. That
Right.
businesses just recognize it's the right thing to do.